What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. And as always, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Clint Pasillas. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at RealFRG. And today we're breaking down Jon Heyman's top 30 free agents. We got some names we're going to dive into. Some players you might not think the Dodgers would be interested, but we're going to dive right into it. But we want to know from you guys down below in the comment section, which of these 30 players do you want to see LA go after? Let us know down below. If you want to throw out your free agent predictions, we want to see those down below in the comment section. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So we're going to get right into this one. We're going to start at number 30. So Jon Heyman has Adam Ottavino as his number 30 free agent this offseason. He had a big year with the Mets bullpen. What are your thoughts on Ottavino? We know that the Dodgers, they've been linked to him in rumors for the last few seasons. Is this the time where he does end up with LA?
I think the Dodgers have enough options to not go and spend money on another middle reliever. You could assume or presume at some point early next year, you probably have Jimmy Nelson back. He was a big part of that 2021 bullpen last year, which was last year because I said 2021. Dan Hudson's another guy they'll expect back after the knee surgery. You still got Brusdar Graterol. You still got, if you're going left hand side, you got Alex Bassitt. They have enough options to not spend or add to payroll and add another body to the roster. I think no, you don't go after Ottavino unless he falls into your lap. He's somebody who's a quality arm. He still can get outs. He has experience and a multitude of roles, but I don't think they need to be actively seeking out Ottavino.
Yeah, I don't anticipate the Dodgers sign him. And then next you have Vasquez, the catcher. Of course, you know the Dodgers, they're not in the market for a catcher.
Not
so we'll go right to 28. So 20 is Michael Conforto. I think Michael Conforto, that's an interesting name. The Mets, they might try to get him back on a short-term deal. He, of course, was with them a few seasons ago. So what are your thoughts on him as a possibility? Heyman has the White Sox, Mets, Yankees, Mariners. And I think when you look at Conforto, he's a guy that would be looking for a prove-it deal. Give yourself the ability to go back to the market after proving yourself once again. What are your thoughts on Conforto?
These are the Los Angeles Dodgers. They don't need another prove-it guy. You want a prove-it guy? Just give Cody Bellinger his arbitration deal. Like, make sure you tender him a contract and you see what happens. But I'd rather have Cody Bellinger in center or in any of the outfield spots over Michael Conforto. So no, thank you.
No on Conforto. So we're going to move on to this next name that is very interesting, and that is Zach Efflin. So Zach Efflin, Philadelphia Phillies.
Former Dodger great. Sometimes he's Efflin great out there on the mound, and I think there's a lot of potential there. What are your thoughts on Efflin? Well, Efflin's one guy I talked about internally. Noah and I follow at Noah Cameras for all of your latest Angels news. I like the idea of really somebody like an Efflin, who, by the way, was part of the Dodgers trade with the Padres to get Grandal to LA. They sent Matt Kemp down to San Diego, and Efflin was sent over to the Phillies to acquire Jimmy Rollins. Unless I messed that whole trade up. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that one, but that's also just me pulling from the back of my ass here. Efflin just screams like the type of dude that could have a Tyler Anderson type of year. Get somebody like an Efflin in with the Dodgers front office, in with Mark Pryor and company, and just let them go to work. So I really like the idea of Efflin, especially if you need, at this point, they really need depth. We've seen The Athletic. We've seen several outlets talk about the fact that, starting pitching is probably the LA's number one priority this offseason. Chances are they're not going after some of the big names we're going to see later on this list or at the top of this list. But what do you think about Efflin? Is that somebody that floats your pickle and motors your boat?
I mean, I don't think he's a huge difference maker. I don't think he would move the needle necessarily, but he does look like a guy that under the right contract at the right price is a name the Dodgers might pursue. Because one, if you look at his age, 29 years old, we know the Dodgers, they don't like signing those older pitchers. If you look at his pitch mix right now, he's the classic example of someone that you could refine that mix and you can have him throw more of that slider, more of that changeup. We saw the success that Tyler Anderson and Andrew Heaney had doing that with the Dodgers this year. Also, we know what LA loves. They love pitchers that can limit hard contact. And he does that in the 96th percentile on average exit velocity, 94th percentile on hard hit percentage, but doesn't have that fastball velocity that they like, doesn't have that fastball spin that they like.
Does Anderson have like real big time fastball velo,
Yeah, no, he doesn't. And I
this
think
is not a guy who's going to be number 1, number 2, number 3. This is a number 5, number 6 guy. Because as of this point, let's assume the Dodgers don't bring back, and we've talked about this already. Let's assume somehow Kershaw doesn't come back, somehow Tyler Anderson comes back. That is not a very imposing looking starting rotation that has World Series aspirations. You got Julio, and then Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, and the farm. So that this is the type of dude where he's a body to help fill out some innings. That's what you really hope out of somebody like a Zach Eflin. Heyman's saying 2 years, $20 million, so you could probably get him on like a 16, even less. You can get him on a reasonable deal. And we know a lot of people want to come to LA. A lot of pitchers want to come to LA to get good at their craft. So
yeah,
at his age, come here, 1 year, prove it deal. That's what I'm thinking. Like, he's not a savior in this rotation. He's not a massive difference maker, but you need somebody who's going to go out there and pick up 180 innings, 160 innings next year.
Yeah, I mean, he does check off a lot of boxes. I do think it'll be interesting to see the market for him. Is there a team out there that is willing to give him a 3-year deal at $35 to $40 million?
Yeah.
And if there is, I think the Dodgers would match that. But he does look like the perfect 1 year type of year, 1 year contract type of guy for the Dodgers. I think that they have such a great track record of optimizing talent like Zach Eflin. And yeah, it's a very interesting name, but I do also think when you look at this Dodgers rotation, there are some young guys that are ready to make the jump. The Bobby Millers, the Gavin Stones. We saw Ryan Pepio had a cup of coffee last season. Tony Gonsolin, we'll see how he responds to his first All-Star season. Will he come back healthy?
Michael Grove got a lot of innings towards the end of the year.
Michael Grove, Dustin May. So yeah, I think it depends on how the young guys step up next season. But Zach Eflin is a very interesting name to keep your eye on because I do think he could provide value at that price. But moving on to the next name, Jose Quintana. So he had a really nice year with Pittsburgh, then went to St. Louis. What are your thoughts on Quintana?
I've never been a Quintana guy. I know he's on Heyman's, or the Dodgers are on Heyman's list, and I'm pretty sure John kind of admitted he just threw names at a wall or just copy pasted a lot of teams with some of these names. I think they could do better. I think if they're trying to find somebody, Jose Quintana has so many years of mid.
Yeah,
I don't think there's very much there that they can get out of it. So I'm out on the Quintana.
Yeah, I'm not big on Quintana either. He's another guy like Tyler Anderson, had more success throwing more of that changeup. I don't see him with the Dodgers next year. And then there's Josh Bell, who was traded from the Nationals to the Padres. Any interest in Josh Bell?
No, we got a first baseman. We're okay.
Yeah.
Get us some versatility.
Can't play some outfield, but yeah.
We're okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Hanser back. At least he could pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't hit, but
Yeah, I don't see Josh Bell.
He doesn't ring my bell.
Doesn't ring your bell. Okay, how about Jurickson Profar, the Pat Beverly of Major League Baseball?
I don't understand how like there are some folks that are doing these lists. We know Heyman, the New York Post just did this one. The Athletic had theirs, their top 50 a couple days ago, and I'm seeing the numbers that people are expecting or possibly seeing Profar get in free agency. Here, Heyman has a 4-year, $48 million deal. No, if it's less, if it's like a 1 or 2 year deal and he's going to be a Hanser type, we know like he can play everywhere, but he's not like a premium defender. He's improved leaps and bounds in the outfield, but another one that doesn't really float my pickle, as it were. What do you feel? How do you feel? Are you differ on the Profar talk?
I mean, I couldn't see him on the Dodgers. That'd be like Carlos Correa light as far as bringing in a villain to LA. But there are some things that I think a team that would be attractive to a team out there. He hits for contact. He's an above average bat, a 110 WRC plus. As you mentioned, his defense has improved. He brings that fire. He doesn't whiff and swing and miss a lot. So there definitely is things to like, but it'll be interesting to see which team will pick him up. But yeah, I don't see him as a fit for the Dodgers. And then there is Noah Syndergaard. So we know the Dodgers, they were linked to Thor for multiple seasons. Remember back in 2019, the Dodgers inquired when he was on the Mets. And of course, we know the injuries that he's had since. And if you look at his season this year and even the postseason, he hasn't gone past 3 innings in any of those games. So they used him as a short burst guy. Any interest on Thor?
So I know I know our boy Noah Cameras, another shout out. He just dropped an article on our DodgersNation.com about the idea about exploring a Syndergaard a partnership with the Dodgers. He kind of falls into the Efflin idea with me. We know, but the thing is, what makes Thor different, what makes Syndergaard different than Efflin is that Syndergaard has proven it before. He's gotten it done at the highest level in this league, and that's something that's intriguing. Maybe he gets in front of the right people. The Dodgers have some tape on him that says, hey, remember when you used to do this? You should do this, dumbass. And, he has the potential to be a number one guy in the past. He could be a number 2, 3, 4 type of dude for the Dodgers. And that could be, that's what they need. Is it ideal? No. Is it intriguing? Yeah. I'd put this on this is option C in my offseason list,
Yeah, and a couple years ago, I was big on him.
Yeah.
Not as much anymore. I guess I'm a Thor loser or something like that. But, yeah, if you look at his strikeout rate, doesn't strike out very many guys. If you look at his ability to miss bats, it wasn't what it used to be. He doesn't walk guys, which I really like, and I know the Dodgers value that. And he is a name, too. He is a brand. He's a guy that would really excite the fan base, but I don't really see him as a fit unless he wants to sign a lesser deal where, like you said, he takes on the tutelage of this Dodgers coaching staff and really finds out what this whole Dodgers pitching program is all about. So maybe he considers doing that. But yeah, when you consider the fastball velocity dipping, and he's just not the same guy that he was out there on the mound. So I don't think next year the Dodgers have a lot of time to experiment with a Noah Syndergaard. I think a Noah Syndergaard is a guy what the Dodgers, what they do, they don't work miracles. They didn't work a miracle with Craig Kimbrell, right? So
it worked a miracle with Andrew Heaney.
It did, but then it became clock struck 12 on Cinderella, right? And then it was home run Heaney. So yes, they can definitely modify your attack plan, your pitch mix, and help you do a lot of things to optimize your skill set. But I also think they can't fight injury or father time. I think Syndergaard's a guy that just hasn't been what he used to be. So I'm out on Thor. But next one, Andrew Benintendi. Andrew Benintendi, interesting name. The Dodgers were actually linked to him temporarily. He's an outfielder. Any interest in Benintendi?
It just doesn't do enough for me. I think there is probably a need for left-handed outfield, hit or power or ability for this team, especially if they do let Cody Bellinger walk. But beyond that, that's about it. I would potentially be more interested in seeing a Jock Peterson reunion, only because you can get it. You can get him cheaper. You can get him for 1 year, 2 years instead of, here we got Heyman saying 4 years, 56. So I don't see the need, Yeah. If you're really making a splash, or if you really want to add to the team for next year, you want to not be embarrassed like you were here in this NLDS, you're bringing in a bat. It's got to be like a next level bat. And I think they do that via trade over as opposed to somebody like a Benintendi. Where are you at on Benny?
Yeah, I have no interest in Benintendi. He hits for contact. He's an above average bat defensively, one of the better defensive outfielders in all of Major League Baseball, but just 5 home runs last season. Okay. Yeah. My model this offseason, if you want the dub, you got to get the slug. And he's not a guy that goes deep in regularity. So I definitely want to see Andrew Benintendi on another team, not named the Dodgers, next season.
But next, coming in at number 21 is Mets free agent starter, right-handed pitcher Taijuan Walker. Last season with the Mets, he posted a 3.49 ERA, a 3.65 FIP, a 20.3 K percentage, a 6.9 walk percentage, and went 157 and a thirds innings. He has that really nice splitter. Opponents have a tough time squaring it up, and he was solid last season for the Mets. But when you look at his baseball savant page, there wasn't a lot to love. Wasn't very impressive. Hard hit percentage, average exit velocity, does not strike out a lot of guys. His walk percentage and chase rate is above average, so that's definitely a good thing. But I just don't see Taijuan Walker being a future Dodger. But Clint, should the Dodgers go after Taijuan Walker?
Nah. That's about it. That's really all I got. Is just, I don't know why I would be okay with Syndergaard and Efflin, but not okay with Walker. But that's just what I feel. That's my gut instinct on it. You told me before we hit the record button, so give us some gut instinct on this. I don't feel Walker. I don't know how coachable
Coach about
Taijuan
teachable.
Walker.
Yeah. But moving right along, a name that producer Cody suggested numerous times last season, that's Martin Perez. The all-star Martin Perez. Heyman has the Rangers, Red Sox, Mets, and a 3-year, $50 million deal for Martin Perez. Do you have any interest?
He is somebody the team has had interest in the past. And that, if the Dodgers have interest in a pitcher, there's something you should like about it. He had an all-star season. Was it this year or the year before? I mean, he's a quality pitcher. Somebody great year with a bad team in a hitter-friendly ballpark in 2022. Definitely somebody that, I mean, I like him a lot more than Taijuan Walker, and I think he's somebody that learns a lot under the tutelage of the Dodgers. You know, I like to call them the Magic Pitching Factory. There's something there. Is he the best option? No. I mean, if you want the team to go out and make a real difference-making splash, we probably talk Carlos Rodon, which we'll look at a little later in this list, but I do. I'm a Martin fan. You know, give me that guy. We need a little bit of somebody where you have to roll the R's a little bit.
Martin
Perez.
There is a lot to like. I mean, innings eater, 196 in the third innings pitched last season, a sub-3.
It's almost 200 innings. They allow that in this
200
league?
innings. I mean, it's unheard of in this day and age. So the ERA at 289. If you looked at some of his batted ball stats and some of his contact stats, I mean, it would suggest an ERA higher than that. But he's a guy that induces a lot of soft contact. We know the Dodgers like that. He's a guy that doesn't rely on high velocity. And although I do think the Dodgers need some more power pitchers for the postseason, Martin Perez at the right price is a name they definitely could consider. I mean, if you look at the success that Tyler Anderson had this season, Martin could probably have similar success under the right circumstances.
And importantly, you kind of look at the age too. He's somebody, he'll be 32 right around opening day next year. You know, he's not going to go out and try to get a 5, 6, 7, 8 year deal, you know, power himself off of that all-star berth. He's somebody you could conceivably get for 2, 3 years, and that's right in the pocket that this team loves. But if you're going to give a left-hander 3 years, I don't know. I mean, that's where it's kind of tough too. It's like Tyler Anderson had a better year, but they almost kind of scream like the same pitcher. At least we know Tyler is kind of a known commodity. But if you're trying to add both, you give a look at Martin Perez.
Yeah, no, that's
got rid of the rolled R.
You got rid of. Why'd you take it away?
Fun.
Yeah,
just for fun.
No, I mean, he's definitely, I think too, if you've seen a lot of these reclamation projects that have turned things around with the Dodgers, one thing they've done with some guys is they've ditched that four-seam fastball in favor of that sinker, and that's what Martin Perez did. You saw with Yency Almonte, he had success doing that. So, yeah, he misses the heart of the zone. He induces off contact. He is a name that, like you said, Dodgers have been interested in, and they're only interested when they see something they like and they identify a way they can take them to the next level. So Perez is a sneaky name that I do think Dodger fans should keep their eyes on this offseason. And I think it also depends on what does Tyler Anderson do? Does he accept the qualifying offer, or does he sign with another team and maybe they pivot to a Martin Perez to fill out this rotation? But really, he does project as a mid-rotation type starter. But
importantly, behind the camera, producer Cody's doing this every time we say Martin Perez.
Martin Perez.
Moving on.
And then coming at number 19, Jameson Taillon. What are your thoughts on Taillon?
Doesn't move the needle for me. Fine pitcher, but there's no rhyme or reason why some of these guys give me words and others don't. I don't. There's nothing all that exciting about Taillon. I think he's one of those guys that has had so much. I don't know. It's like so much hype to his name and never quite could live up to it. And I think you're always chasing that. And that's going to be a problem. So that's it. It's not a great answer. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, like you mentioned, there was so much hype surrounding him. He was the next Nolan Ryan. He was this triple-digit flamethrower, but he's not that flamethrower that he was billed to be. He definitely changed his repertoire. His command has improved, which you definitely like to see. The walk rate has improved, but he's a name where, he's another guy that projects to sign, a contract north of $60+ million. So I don't think the Dodgers are going to do any of these mid-starter signings.
Yeah. Plus, it's hard for the team to sell. Like, hey, we just got bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We went out and signed Jameson Taillon.
Yeah, I know.
We got this, guys. In the bag. World Series dub. We're partying in the streets. Oh, yeah!
Yeah, exactly. Drinking Jameson.
That's
Jameson. Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. I mean, I think there is a opportunity for big signings. And then look, I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about the breakdown of how the Dodgers payroll looks next season. Well, when you look at the budget, it's not budgeted for these types of signings. It's really you go big or go home, or you look to some of these younger players that Andrew Friedman has already hinted that they're going to lean towards next season. So no on Taillon for me either. And then next, old friend, I'm going to hop on the Kenley Fornia adventure. How about Kenley Jansen?
Hey, right here. Give me a one shot. No. Just no. Back to you in the studio. That's it. There's no reason to talk. We've talked about Kenley for years on this show, on this network. Everybody knows my opinions on it. There's not a reason. Never get back together with your ex.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would be a situation where maybe if the Dodgers felt like, hey, Dave Roberts, we don't trust in a closer by committee type management style, and they want a true closer, and there's not a lot of guys out there, maybe they do it. But last season, he did some things that you like to see from Kenley Jansen, the limited hard contact.
He also did. Yeah, he did a lot of Kenley things. He did the full spectrum of Kenley things.
Yeah, and I think
Love the dude.
Yeah, and I just personally don't think that it's... Look, the reason why they signed Kenley to that big deal had a lot to do with the organization and the fact that he was growing into being this iconic Dodger.
Yep.
But Andrew Friedman does not like to pay big money for closers because they're volatile. You can find them during the season. You can develop guys. So, yeah, I would say there's no chance that Kenley Jansen's going to be on the Dodgers next season. Maybe if he pays the Dodgers, who knows? I don't know, but I just don't see it.
Hey, Angels, sign him. Sign Kenley Jansen. Let's go.
Yeah, so Kenley Jansen is a no. And the next, Anthony Rizzo. So Anthony Rizzo, that's a pretty easy no. There's no spot for him. Tyler Anderson.
All day, baby. 3 years. I'm gonna say 3 years. What did you say? You said 43?
I'm 42. 3 years, 42.
I'm going Rich Hill contract. That's what I'm doing. Was that 3 and 48?
3 and 48.
Let's do Rich Hill.
Lock it up, man. Got that dog. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, man, honestly,
we're idiots.
Tyler Anderson is a guy that the Dodgers absolutely have to bring back. I think there is going to be interest for him around the league because I think other teams see, well, the Dodgers, they unlocked him. They figured him out, and we'll benefit off that. So they basically did our work for us.
Did the homework.
Yeah, so, I mean, Anderson, I think that it does feel like the Dodgers are going to make an effort to bring him back. I think there's no question that they're going to extend that qualifying offer to him at $19.65 million. And just think about that. If you sign that deal, which I don't think he will, because I do think there'll be multi-year deals out there for him. He's only made $17 million only in baseball rich kid money.
Can't borrow some of that.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that it does play a part because I don't think that, I mean, when he signed that contract, a 1 year, $8 million deal, which did turn into, he did get a $500,000 bonus because of the incentives that he hit. But I don't think that he said, this is going to be my bet on you $8 million deal, and I'm going to get a $42 million contract. He really, other than Aaron Judge and maybe Dansby Swanson, he increased his stock pretty much more than anyone other than those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's another. I mean, you look at the age too. The age tells you like, I'm comfortable with a 3, maybe a 4 year deal. I think there could be 4 year deals out there for him. I don't know the Dodgers that the Dodgers front office is willing to go 4 years. But if he wants to be 3, or if he's happy with the 2 or 3, and he's happy in Los Angeles, he likes the team, he likes the area, he by all accounts he liked what happened this year. I see a reunion happening. You see it, you feel good about it.
Dependable, durable.
And that's a big thing they need. The rotation needs veterans. They need innings, and he's a guy that gets both. And he's an all-star. Now we're moving into the top 15 in John Heyman's top 30 list based on, I think he just threw some darts at it.
Yeah, I mean, some of these names, if you look at some of these lists, there are some inconsistencies. Some guys are higher on other guys than others, but coming in at number 15 is another starter, Chris Bassitt. So we know there was a fire sale up in Oakland last season, and he was one of the guys that got traded, and he goes to the Mets. And Chris Bassitt's a guy that he definitely had a solid year for the New York Mets. He's a guy that really is a mid-rotation guy. He's older. That we know the Dodgers don't love that. What are your thoughts on Chris Bassitt?
He's another one. Like you need to sell. You need to sell the fact that we're trying to really improve over what happened last year. So we went and got Chris Bassitt.
Yeah,
he's not a name that people know. Not to say that you need to go and get a star power name. If he's somebody that signs like a week before spring training, Yeah, all right, cool. The same thing that happened with Tyler Anderson, Heaney. I mean, think back when the Dodgers signed Heaney last offseason. We're like, what the why is this? I mean, it proved to be a decent deal, but you would feel like Bassitt's at a point with his career, especially the last, really his entire career. But since 2018, he's been a solid pitcher. He's been a very serviceable pitcher, and that usually means money in this league. And I don't know that the Dodgers, I don't think the front office is really going to be like, this is the sexy guy we need to take us over the top. Just because there's other names that move the needle more. I don't know, maybe more projectable. Yeah. Solid arm. I would not be upset, but like he's a B. He's an option B to me. If we get him, cool. And I think a lot of people will look at the numbers and be like, hey, this is a damn good deal. Or a damn good addition. But like, if we're trying to, if they're trying to win back the fan base or something, this move isn't going to do it.
Yeah, like you said, he's not going to excite the fan base. You're not going to see Twitter going crazy over a Chris Bassitt
Not to say
signing.
I know what our like, our tent poles are, like what we're looking for in these guys and these names. That's just, it's me speaking from the heart here as a Dodgers expert. That's in heavy air quotes for everybody listening on the podcast side.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing with Chris Bassitt is he's a name that if you strike out on some other guys, he definitely is one of the better top 20 pitchers in the league. I mean, he's a guy that is dependable. He can go deep into games. Last season didn't have a great start in the wild card round, so your last memory of him isn't too great when you think about him getting rocked against the Padres. But yeah, he's not really your classic Dodger signing either. The fastball velo, the fastball spin, does limit hard contact, doesn't strike out too many guys, is an older guy. So I just don't see it. I doubt he'll be a Dodger next season. So that's a no on Chris Bassitt. But imagine they had Ty Dog and a Bassitt hound. Ooh, no, I was playing. But next is Wilson.
That's pretty good. I'm going to give you that's pretty good.
But that's part one of the top 30 list. Next, we have coming up the top 15, the most important names that you Dodger fans are going to want to tune in for. Check it out. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. I am Clint, Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is DMac_LA, Doug McCain, the legend. So hang out and watch more stuff while you're here because it's cool.